welcome to Learn and Master Guitar. On this session, we're going to talk about chords. We're going to learn about what chords are the basic chords, what chords are open chords and bar chords, and the chords that every guitarist who calls himself a guitarist needs to know. Certain chords, and that's what we're going to talk about today, the intro to all of that. We're going to do some songs involving chords. In our guitar tips section, we're going to talk about sounding your best when playing chords, a little bit about strumming, that sort of thing. So I'll see you there. Okay, now the first thing you want to think of when we're doing chords is we're going to make sure we review our hand position. We talked about hand position at the very beginning. Let's kind of review what a good hand position should be. We've got our good pick position right here. We're holding our pick nice and strong. We don't want to hold it too loose. If we hold it too loose, it just doesn't work well with chords. So we want to hold our pick with a little bit of strength in it. Okay? On our left hand, we want to make sure that when we're playing these chords, that our hand is in a good balanced position. Our wrist is down. We've got a little bit of airspace here. I don't have my thumb and my wrist way up like this. I'm going to come all the way down like this. Bring that wrist down. Now, you don't need to brace when you're doing chords. We talked about bracing. That was good when we were doing single notes and we had to figure out which string we needed to play. It doesn't work that way with chords. Chords, go ahead and cup your fingers underneath your hand, and we'll just do it without bracing. That's what we need to do when we get into strumming. Okay? The chords we're going to be talking about are open chords. What open chords are, open is telling you that there is an open string involved in the chord. Okay? Later on, we're going to talk about bar chords, which are chords that do not have any open strings on them and that use one finger to cover more than one string. That's a bar. These first few that we're going to cover are open chords, and that's the ones we're going to focus on right now. So let's talk about the first set of chords. Now, in this session, we're going to learn 3 different sets of chords. I grouped them together because really of finger combinations that work well with each other. So you'll notice some are C's, some are D's, some are E's. They kind of go in between different ones, and it may be a little confusing to keep up with the names, but I did it to introduce the ones that would be the easiest first. So here's the first batch of chords that we're going to cover. Now actually, I've already kind of snuck in the first 4 that we need to do. Way back in session 2, I believe it was, we covered a C chord. Let's review what a C chord is. The 6th string, we don't have anything on it. There's an X over that chord block. 5th string, I've got my 3rd finger. 4th string, I've got my 2nd finger. 3rd string is open. 1st finger is C on that 2nd string. And the last string is open. Let's play them all together, each note individually. Make sure they're all sounding clean and sounding out nice and strong, no buzzes. One more time. Now together. Now, sometimes it may be hard for you to grab a couple of these chords. If you want to, kind of the easy way to do some of these chords is just to take the bottom half of the chord. In this one, it would just be this E, the C, and the G, the lowest 3 strings, and just play those to get you started. But ideally, we want to eventually be able to stretch our hands wide enough to get that E and that C in there, doing a full C chord. Okay? The next chord we learned was a G7th. We move our fingers up 1 string set here and down to the 1st string there. So I've got my 3rd finger, my 2nd finger, open string, open string, open string, and then my 1st finger on that 1st string. Okay, let's go note for note. One more time. Now all together. That's a G7th chord. Now, if we put them both together, we've got a C, we've got a G7th. In the last session, we learned about an A minor, which is a 5-string chord. We don't play that 6th string, it's got an X above it. We have an open A, 2nd finger on this E, 3rd finger squeezing up underneath this E on that A, 1st finger on the C, and an open E there. That's an A minor. Abbreviation for it, AM. Okay? 5-string chord. Let's go through just individual notes. all together. Now an E chord is the same chord form, we just move everybody up a string set. And I'll use all 6 strings on an E chord. Individual notes. All together. Now, the one new chord that we need to touch on is a D minor chord, abbreviated DM. This is our first 4-string chord that we've come across. Doesn't use all 6 strings or 5 strings, this uses just 4. The first 2 strings have an X by them, so don't play those. Then we have an open D, second finger on the A, third finger on that D, first finger on this F. Maybe a little awkward getting that third finger out there to that D. If you want to, you could squeeze in your pinky there, but you might get used to playing it the wrong way. So I would really recommend that you try and stretch that third finger out to catch that. All together. Be real careful to only play 4 strings. It's going to get more and more important which strings are which. If I add those extra 2 strings in, I get these rumbling down there, which a lot of guitar players do, and it's real sloppy. It doesn't sound too good. So we want to make sure we know which chords are 5-string, C, and A minor, which chords are 6-string, G7, and E, and which chords are 4-string with that D minor. All right, let's start looking at these basic open chord exercises. Number 1, let's look at the first exercise there. We're going to go through 4 C's, then it's 4 beats of rest, 4 G7s. 4 beats of rest. Should be no problem for you. Ready? Play. And 4 beats of rest. 2, 3, G7. Very good. Number 2, we go between A minor and E. A minor. Ready? Play. Everybody moves up a string set. Ready, play. Very good. Okay. Now on the third one, you'll notice we have 8th notes. Well, how do we do 8th notes when we're strumming? Or how do we do 8th notes with chords? It involves strumming. Let's talk about that for a second. On my right hand over here, as I'm coming in to play this C, I come down and I hit my 5th string. If you can think of it, it's kind of making a little arc as I'm coming around. Now, if you were a kid and somebody gave you a guitar, chances are you'd probably walk up to it and go, just kind of what everybody does. Now, that motion is actually pretty close to what you need to be doing. You need to just grip a pick in it a little bit stronger, but you want your wrist to be loosed. To be loose. It's almost like you're flicking something off of your hand. That's the motion with your wrist. If you get it too tight, it sounds real choppy, and it's not the direction we want to go. You want to make sure that your wrist is loose. You're gripping the pick strong, but your wrist is still loose. Let's take a look at 3. If I was doing that C down and up, we have to do it nice and steady. Now I come down with my arc, and when I come back, I really only hit a couple of them. You don't try and be accurate on it, coming all the way back down and then suddenly pull out at the last minute. It doesn't work that way. Just kind of angle the arc of your arm here to go accurate going down, and then you hit some of them coming up. Accurate going down, some of them coming up. Okay, number 3. Let's do that one. Starts on a C. Ready? Go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Rest. Find that A minor. Ready? Play it. 5-string chord again. Let's try that one again. Go back to that C, 2, ready, and C, play. Slow and even strums. A minor. Find it. Ready, go. Now. Now let's skip down to number 5. That gets our D minor chord, and then we're going to go to a G7. But we're slowly combining these different rhythms. First we just did quarter notes, then we did eighth notes. Now we're going to do quarter notes and eighth notes mixed together. Ready, number 5? Go. Rest. Get ready for that G7. Ready. G7. Do it again. D minor. Ready. Go. G7th. 2. Ready. Go. Good. Now let's learn our second batch of chords. Okay, for the second batch of chords, we're going to cover the G, the D7th, E minor, and the ever-elusive B7th. Okay? So we're going to start out with the G. Now, if you look at your chord diagram, there's actually 2 different ways that you can finger this one. Okay? The more common way is you put your third finger up here on the 6th string, second finger on the 5th string, then you have open string, open string, open string, and then way down at the bottom, you've got your pinky on that high G, on that E string, on that first string. Now, the other way of fingering it is just switch your fingers around. I have my second finger on that G, first finger on the B, then open, 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 third finger on that G there. So either way is right. So you need to find which way is more comfortable for you to play. And it may be in different musical situations, one may be more preferable than the other. The next chord is a D7th. Back to those D chords, so that means it's a 4-string chord. I don't play these lower 2 strings. So we have an open D, second finger on that A, first finger on that C, third finger on this F sharp on the first string. Try it one more time. Now all together. That's a D7. Maybe a little tricky getting that third finger underneath there. You just kind of try it. It takes a while. If your chords are initially buzzy and you think, gosh, I'm never going to get it, it just sounds like I'm not getting it. It takes a while, I've found, in teaching people chords. It takes a while for them to get it. Some folks get it right off, and it's not a problem of hand strength or anything like that for them. They just get it. Other folks, they have to strengthen up their hands. Their problem is they're not able to push the strings down hard enough, and so you get that. Other folks, they just can't find the sweet spot to it. The chords aren't buzzy, but it's just I got other fingers that are touching the strings all around them, and I end up with these muted sounds. So that's why it's important to go one right after the other. And you may think, gosh, it just sounds like this and it's not going to get any better. I have not found that to be true. I've worked with folks with all kinds of different hands, all kinds of different fingers, and hand strength issues, and I have found that in general, they're able to get it with a little bit of practice. It takes you a while to find the sweet spot of where to put your fingers to get it all to sound right, but keep working at it. It may not come in a few days, maybe a week or 2 before you actually get them to open up. But once you get them to open up, they'll be there. The next one is an E minor. E chord, all 6 strings. This one is pretty easy. We have open E, second finger on that B, third finger on that E, then the rest of them are open. That's an E minor. Now, the B7th is the last one in this batch. Second finger on the 5th string. It's a 5-string chord. Don't play that 6th string. First finger on that D sharp. Third finger on that A. Open B. And pinky on that F sharp. Now, this one may take a little practice of getting them all to sound out clearly. lot of times you'll find that that D sharp won't come out real good because this finger, your second finger, he's got his little rear end sitting on the string underneath him, and it doesn't let him play. There's really only two problems why a note doesn't sound. It's either it doesn't have enough pressure on it, or somebody's in the way. So if you got one note that's like that, and you think you've got enough pressure on it, look and see if somebody is not sitting on that note, one of your other fingers. And that'll help on your B7. Let's go through some exercises with these. This would be your basic open chord exercises 2. Okay? Start off with number 1. Starts on that G chord. Ready, 6-string chord, loose wrist, holding my pick strong. Ready, go. Give you a few beats to find that D7th. Only a 4-string chord, be careful. If you need to look at your hand while you're playing these to make sure you're getting the right number of strings, please do so. Let's do number 2. C, we got some down and ups happening, some 8th notes. Ready, go. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. D7th, 2, 3, 4. Give you a second to find it. Good. Number 3, we have that B7th. 3. Jumping down to an E minor. I gave you a hard one and then the easy one comes. Great. So let's go to the last and third batch of chords. Okay, now let's talk about the third set of chords. Okay, we get in. The first one we come across is a D. We've already done a D minor, a D7th. Now we're to the top of that chord family, the D. Again, it's all the D chords are 4-string chords. We have open D. Now, you put your first finger on this 3rd string A. Curve your 3rd finger over to catch this 2nd string D. And then your 2nd finger kind of squeezes up underneath there on that 1st string to catch that F sharp. Okay, let's do it all together. One more time. All in one strum. One more time for good measure. Next chord we come across is a C7th. We've already done the C. Remember what a C was like here? The only thing different about a C7th is I put my pinky down on that 3rd string on the 3rd fret. That's a C7th. Let me go slow. Each individual note. Now if I rear back a little bit too much with my wrist, I may get some of the notes not coming out right. Bring that wrist down to where they can all come out properly. Next one is an A. A is another 5-string chord. Open A. And then the tricky thing about this one is I've got everybody's on that 2nd fret, on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. So how do we do that? Well, different guys do it different ways. Here's one, I'll give you 2 different ways. Here's the first way. Use your 2nd, 3rd, and 1st finger, and you just squeeze them all up underneath there together. Okay? Now sometimes they won't even fit, and so you have to really kind of move your hand around, or you may have some of them that sound like that. Squeeze them real in there tight. See if you can't open that up a little bit. Now, that's kind of the official way to play it. Sometimes in the heat of battle, you may take your 1st finger and bar the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd string. Now, a lot of guys do that. There's one problem with that, and it's on the 1st string. There it is. There's no way, unless you're double jointed, that you can get your 1st finger to bar all 3 of those and then invert to get off that last one. So it's good when you want to rear back and just kind of get the bottom 4 strings of it. But if you want to get the full chord, you really got to work on getting these fingers to squeeze all up in there together. Okay? A seventh is pretty easy. We just take our A, we move our third finger down and take our pinky out of the picture. So we have open A, second finger on that fourth string, open G. Make sure you can hear that open G. Make sure that second finger, make sure his rear end isn't sitting on that string. Then third finger squeezing up underneath there on that C sharp and open. Very good. The last one we're going to cover is an E. All 6 strings on that E. It's an E7, excuse me. Go ahead and form it by making your E that we learned earlier. Remember that? Now just take your third finger off. If we take our third finger off, we're just left with our second and our first. And that's an E7th. Chords are getting easier, aren't they? You're probably pretty thankful about that right about now. That's an E7. Let's go through a couple of these exercises. Basic open chord exercises basic chord exercises 3, and we're going to start with the first one. Okay? Starts on that D. Ready, play. 4-string chord. Give you a second to find this A and squeeze all those fingers on that second fret. Go. One more time to the D. Ready, play. Back to A, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Okay, let's skip down a little bit. Let's go down to, let's say, number 5. Okay, that one starts on a G. Now I'm starting to really get a little bit more complex with the chords, the quarter notes, and the eighth notes of the chords. Okay, so you have to pay attention to your rhythm a little bit. Starts on a G. We'll go nice and slow. Ready, go. Rest. Rest. E minor. Rest. C7th. Rest. D7th, rest. Remember on those down ups, we're accurate coming down, and we just did a couple of them coming up. Let's do number 5? Let's do number 5 again. Ready? Go. Rest. Rest. E minor. Rest. Rest. C7th. Rest. D7th, rest. Now, you may have a problem with some of your chords. It takes a little bit longer for you to actually form the chord, and so you're kind of hesitating in between them. You may do the first G, and then it kind of takes you a minute to get that E minor. The more you practice that, the quicker that transition will get. Where you change those chords is important, and we'll talk about that in the next section. For our guitar tips section, we're going to talk about 2 important concepts relating to chords. First of them is changing chords at the right time. This is very, very important. A lot of times as you're practicing these chord changes, we're very worried about making sure that all of these notes are coming out at the right time and that you're playing them enough times, and then it's time to play that next chord, and you got to think about it there for a second. And then you kind of move on. Okay, well, when you're actually playing a song, you got to keep those chords in the right spots or the song doesn't work. So it's better for you to get through and maybe chop off a couple of beats of that first chord in order to land that second chord at the right time. It's better to do that than to catch every last drop of that first chord and miss the second chord. I'd rather you cut off the first one, give yourself a little time to get what you need where you need to get, so that when it's time for that second chord, when that split second comes by, you're ready to land on that second chord. Okay? Changing chords at the proper time is very, very important. Next thing I want to talk about is an E minor 11th. Now you're probably going, what is an E minor 11th? Well, we'll learn what an E minor 11th is in a few sessions, but for right now, you need to know what this chord is and never to do it. When you're going through a chord progression, let's say I'm going from a G, let's say, to a C. So I'm going to play 4 Gs, then I'm going to do 4 Cs. Now, as you're just starting off in chords, you may be tempted to do this. Listen real carefully. You hear how right in between when I'm changing chords, I still have one strum left, and I think, well, I can't make it and change chords at the right time, so I just let that strum go as my fingers are off the fretboard over here, and you end up with an E minor 11th. So you are not to play an E minor 11th in between chords. Grab those chords as much as you can, hang on to it, and then change really, really quickly between the two, so that you don't have that extra superfluous E minor 11th in the middle of everything. Okay? So if I'm speeding up a chord progression, maybe I'm doing something like, which is a G, a C, a D7th, and a G. Well, you just want to make sure as you're changing chords that you're not throwing in that open strum as you're changing chords, which would sound something like this. Real common thing that guitar players do, just because we're human and we like to be sloppy sometimes. So try and avoid doing that. Change those chords at exactly the proper time, so that when the chord change and the song is going by, that you're playing at the right chord at the right time. Okay, let's talk about your assignment for this session. Your assignment for this session is, I want you to do all of the basic chord exercises in your book, which is basic chord exercises 1, 2, and 3. Okay? We're also going to, there's basic chord songs in your book as well, and I'd like for you to do those. Play through them with the notes. Now that you've learned all your first position notes, remember notes a couple of sessions back? Now we've got chords with them. We're going to tie the two together. Okay? So play the notes through one time, play the chords through one time. Okay? Next thing is the workshop. I'll see you there. Okay, welcome to the workshop time. Here we're going to get some good workouts on the chords that we've learned. Let's review the chords that we've covered so far. Now, I'm not going to say them. We're not going to go through them in the order that we did before. I'm going to kind of group them into families. Okay? So the first two we're going to cover is the C and the C7th. Here's a C chord. And then for a C7th, all I have to do is put my pinky down. I want you to kind of start seeing how these all relate together. Let's play C. C7th. Next is the D family. Let's play D. And then D minor. Gotta have to switch your fingers around a little bit. D7th. Let's do those one more time. D. D minor. D7th. Now let's do the E family. Starts off with an E. E minor, take that first finger off. Put that first finger back on, take the third finger off for E7th. Let's do those again. E. E minor. E7th. Next, let's do the G's, which would be G and G7. Start off with a G. G7th now. One more time. G. G7th. Now let's do the A family. A, remember, squeeze all those fingers in together. A minor. A7th, second and third finger. Let's do these all again. A minor, A7th. And the lone one that's off by himself is a B7th. One more time, B7th. Okay, let's look at our basic open chord exercises, number 1. We'll do exercise number 1. Ready, play. G7, find it, ready, go. Repeat it, back to C, ready, play. G7, ready, play. Let's move on to the next one. Number 2, A minor, ready, play. To the E. Repeat it, back to the A minor. Ready, go. E, 2, 3, 4. Number 3, down and ups on that C. Ready, go. A minor, 2, 3, 4. Back to the C, 2, 3, 4. A minor, go. Great. 4, here we go. So just stay right there on that A minor. Go. Next is a D minor, 4-string chord. Don't play those last 5th and 6th strings. Good, even strums. Back to A minor, ready, go. Nice, loosen up that wrist. D minor, go. Number 5, downbeats on the D minor, ready, go. G7, 8th notes, ready, play. Back to D minor, ready, go. G7. Last one at that bottom of that page, number 6, starts on a C, go. Quick change to A minor, ready, play. D minor, ready, play. G7, ready, go. One more time, back to C, go. Find that A minor, play. D minor, ready, go. G7, ready, play. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's do the basic chord exercises number 2. Okay, starting on exercise number 1. Starts off with that G chord. We'll go a little bit faster this time. Ready, play. D7th, go. Back to G, 2, 3, 4. D7th. Number 2, C, downs and ups, 8th notes. Make them nice and even. D7th, just downbeats. Oop, I gave you an extra beat there. Sorry about that. Back to C. One more time just for me. C, downs and ups, and go. D7th, ready, play. Now to B7th, number 3. Take a second, get your fingers in the right spots. E minor. 2 is the next one. Ready? Play. Go ahead and repeat it. Back to B7. Ready? Go. E minor. Ready? Go. Very good. Number 4, A minor. Here we go. Pay attention to the rhythm. Rest. Rest, then you play an A minor again. B7th. Go. Rest. Rest. Go ahead and repeat it. Back to A minor. Go. B7th. Go. Number 5, go. Rest, rest, rest. E minor, rest, 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 rest. Now I bet you most of you missed that last measure there because I threw off one of the rests there. Let's try it one more time. Make sure you get that. You got to watch your counting on that one. Number 5 starts on a G. Go. Rest, rest, rest. E minor. Rest, rest. Don't fall into the trap. There you go. Number 6. Ready, play. D7th, play. E minor, ready, go. B7th, go. Repeat it, back to G, play. D7th, go. E minor, ready, go. B7th, go. 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's look at this third set of guitar exercises, basic open chord exercises, number 3. Okay, starts out on a D chord. Number 1, ready, play. Get that A, squeeze all those fingers in there. Repeat it, back to D, ready, go. You're doing great. A, squeeze those fingers in there, go. Number 2, C7th, ready, play. A7th, 2, 3, 5-string chord. Back to C7th, ready, go. A7th, ready, go. Doing great. Number 3, E minor, ready, play. A7th, go. Look at that rhythm. Make sure you're getting all these eighth notes right. Rest, B7th. Back to number 3, go. A7th. E minor, ready, go. B7th. Rest number 4, go. Rest D here. Be looking at these rhythms. E7th, just take that third finger off. Do it again, A. Number 5, ready, go. Do it again, go. You're doing great. Number 6. Quickly change to that D minor, A minor, G7th, do it again, C, D minor, A minor, very good. We've gone through all those chord exercises. That's a lot of good practice for you. Also, there's more resources in the Jam Along CDs, as well as there's more resources in your book as well. Let's move on to our songs. Okay, now let's look at some of our songs. The first song we're going to look at is Morning Has Broken. Okay? First thing we're going to do is the notes. Let's do the notes first. Okay? Starts on that C on the 5th string. We'll go through it one time slow, and then we'll do one time fast. It's in 3/4 times, so 3 beats per measure. Here we go. Starts on that C. Ready? Go. 2, 3, 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Go. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. 2, 3. Very good. Okay, now one more time with the notes, a little bit faster this time. 1, ready, go. Great. Okay, now let's take a look at the chords. Starts off with a C chord. Okay, we're just going to do a chord for each measure. Okay, don't worry about doing strums just yet. If you want to strum along with each beat, that's fine. If you want to just do whole notes, that's fine too. Let's just do whole notes for now. Okay, starts out on a C chord. Now, if there's a measure that's blank, you just keep repeating the chord of the previous measure. That's how that works. It doesn't change until the actual chord change. Here we go. Starts on that C. I'll count you off. 1, ready, go. D minor now to a G, to a D minor, to a C. And here would be another C. E minor, A minor, D7th, G, C, D minor, another D minor, C, A minor, D major, G, G7th here, C. Very good. Okay, the last song we're going to do here is America the Beautiful. We're going to start off with our notes, and then we're going to go to chords later. So take a look at it. Let's do the notes first. Nice and slow. We have a pickup note on that D. Ready, play. F sharp, 2, 3. comes a G sharp, first finger. 2, 3. F sharp here. Two, 3. Two, 3. Very good. That one is a good workout on the dotted quarter note. We haven't really worked too much with a dotted quarter note. It gets a beat and a half, and it's almost always followed by another eighth note. Da, da, da is how that would be. Dotted quarter, eighth quarter. Okay? Let's do the chords this time. Okay? It's in 4/4 time. 1, I'll count you off. 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another D7. Now G. Stay on that G. Here comes some quick changes. E7th, A7th, D7th. Back to G, D, and then a quick D7th, A minor, D7th, G, C, G, A minor, D7th, G, 2, 3, 4. As you rehearse these more, you can start adding more beats into it, maybe chords with every beat, rather than just doing whole notes like we did there. But we've got to start somewhere, so we start off with whole notes. So, thanks, and we will see you next time.